settled.
There we go.
We're good.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Good afternoon and welcome to the Albany Housing Authority Board of Commissioners meeting. Today is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. Started our meeting on time. We have no one from the community from the community to speak at the forum, so we will move to the action items. Action item number 1, approval of the May 12th, 2026 Authority Commissioners meeting minutes. The reason we're doing this one now is because we didn't do it the last time.
Yes.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
No.
None.
Motion to approve?
Motion made.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 2, June 9, 2026, Albany Housing Authority Commissioners meeting minutes. Looking for a motion to approve.
Motion made.
Second? Favor? Item number 3, June 30th, 2026, audit review. Michael Maurice, our partner from Gary and Company, is here. Nice to see you, Michael. As always, the floor is yours, sir. I heard you were on a golf course or something.
What's that?
I heard you were on a golf course or something.
Oh, yeah,
Is that
I
a
just
big
was kidding
background?
around with Brandon. I told her I was teeing off on the third hole. So
The floor is yours, sir.
does everyone have a copy of the audit report?
It's the blue. No. Thank you, folks.
Okay. So the first the first 11 pages of the report is the management discussion and analysis. It's a basic comparative of the prior year to the current year. We included some charts and graphs to make it easier for the reader to understand the activity from year to year. Those graphs, if you will, can be found beginning on page, I believe, 8 and 9 for revenue and expenses. And we'll get into some of those numbers during the review of the report on the financial statements. The next, just going in order, the audit report, which begins on page 12. As you know, I see a lot of familiar faces there in the boardroom. As you know, the audit report can consist of several different opinions. Unqualified, qualified, and adverse. So the Albany Housing Authority for the fiscal year ended 6/30/25 received an unqualified opinion, which is the best opinion that you can receive. That means there were no accounting positions that the authority took that were contrary to maybe GAAP or government auditing standards that we wanted to highlight or bring to someone's attention that could pose a difference. If we move on past the auditor's report, we'll get to the financial statements. And here we can see the on page, I think it starts on page 15. Is the statement of financial position. So on here, I just wanted to speak a little bit about the accounts receivable. That seems to be the biggest topic that I hear from most of the authorities that we perform audit or fee accounting services for. So it is true that we are moving some years away from the COVID epidemic, which caused a spike in the accounts receivable because unfortunately, most housing authorities experienced the phenomenon where tenants learned that they did not have to pay their rent. There were no repercussions, such as evictions and so forth. And those tenant accounts receivables have, ballooned. So as we've been moving away from there, we have been, as you know, the board has been writing off certain receivables from tenants that have moved out that we're truly never going to collect. And we have placed allowances on the books for those items which we think that we're not going to collect. So we can see from here, if you look, the net accounts receivable this year is $146,000, which is $10,000 lower than the previous year. Our allowance has also been reduced. You can see in the under the current asset column, the descriptives, you can see what the allowance booked for the year was $260 compared to the prior year, $311. So the housing authority has been working diligently, based on our review of their tenant accounts receivables, their analysis, and of their uncollectible accounts to collect these funds, because we know that this has a significant impact on the authority's ability to provide the services to the tenants, right? Operating subsidy goes so far, we have to collect the tenant rent. So Albany Housing Authority is pretty much right where most of the housing authorities are. I would say even probably in a little better position. You've done a little better job of collecting those outstanding rents. And I guess that's a credit to the project managers that are reaching out to the tenants and doing their best to collect those funds. You can see that our cash position is pretty much unchanged. It's up slightly. There's not a lot of significant differences on the between last year and this year. We were at $85 million to $83 million. A lot of the difference between that is going to be the depreciation expense on the fixed assets that we have. Is there any questions on this statement? Any concerns anyone has with any of the numbers?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So moving along to the statement of the next page is the liability section. And again, on the liability section, as I explained in previous meetings, the housing authority back in 2021 was required to adapt GASB 87. Now, GASB 87 deals with leases, and this hit both the public sector and the private sector. The housing authority is now required to record, for example, its cell tower leases that it has on its building. It's required to present value those and record an asset and a deferred inflows of assets on the books. And then you amortize those deferred assets, those deferred inflows over the life of the lease, and you obviously reduce the asset by the receivable by your payments. That does it enhance the financial statements? I don't think for the normal user it does, but for GAAP purposes, we were required to adopt it, and therefore you see these large amounts of additional money on the liability side. It's $1.8 million in lease revenues. That all deals with the cell towers. Previously, we were also required to adopt GASB 68 and 75. Those deal with the unfunded pension and OPEB costs. OPEB, in your case, would be the health benefits. So you have some very large.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
What contributed to the decrease in OPEB costs?
So good question, Mike. So the OPEB costs, everything on that is done by actuarial liability computation. So for the OPEB, we hire an actuary to do those calculations, and those calculations vary by the amount of contributions that we've made and compared to the funds that they're invested in. Mainly for that's really more for the pension. The OPEB, we're pay as you go. So the OPEB has no assets except we fund it, and they compute a liability every year.
Historically, it doesn't decrease, it increases.
Yes, but it can decrease based upon the interest, the interest factor that they use. And that happens in a lot of places, that you have a negative adjustment to the OPEB and the pension. At one point, the pension was overfunded, and it was a negative adjustment. And the pension is done by that's held by the state, and that audit report is done by KPMG, and we get that information for the housing authority directly from the state's website. The OPEB, we hire our own actuary to compute those computations. I speak with the guy that does our OPEB computations to go over it. The state, I'll be honest, I take KPMG's word for it that they've done it, that the numbers are correct. But that's those numbers are why our balance sheet looks so inflated on the liability side. We have no ability to satisfy that OPEB and pension liability. It's $31 million. We can't. We couldn't pay that. We've been doing that as pay as you go. So every year we make a large contribution to the pension plan, and every year we pay the health benefit plan. But we are required to show the users of the financial statement our total liability. And just as a little side note, so you think that this is a little crazy, I forget if New York, like municipalities in New York, but I know in New Jersey, they're not required to put this on there. Like the municipalities are not required to put this on their financial statements.
In New York, they
don't
have
follow GAAP. So
in New York, you have to. Jersey, you don't. Connecticut, you have to.
In New York, you don't, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. So if you looked at the state's audit report, if you looked at the city of Albany's audit, you would never see these liabilities because they use an accounting system called ACBO, other basis of accounting. But the housing authority is required to use GAAP, so the readers can see your total liabilities. And again, if you look at the unrestricted net assets, it shows it as a deficit. That deficit is basically because we have these giant liabilities for OPEB and pension. If you adjusted those, that net asset, which is your retained earnings, similar to retained earnings, your equity, you would be positive. So it is a little misleading. You really have to understand what's going on these financial statements to understand the health of the housing authority. You're not underwater per se because it's the equity is negative. We have these GAAP adjustments that we're required to book for OPEB and pension that cause your equity to be in a negative position.
Anybody have any other questions on that?
You?
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Just going forward to the income statement on the next page, we can see that our revenues were slightly higher than the previous year. And on this page, it's I guess it's pretty much self-explanatory, but the only thing I want to say about a little bit behind the numbers here is for the operating subsidy, the housing authority has been transitioning a lot of their housing units to RAD or tax credit properties. So as we're going on, our operating subsidy is being reduced a little bit for the public housing side. but that is going to be made up in revenues to the housing authority through management fees, and a one-time and a series of developer fees that come into the COCC over the life of those projects that the authority manages. So if we look through here, if anybody has any questions on the on the income statement, we do, it shows an excess loss of the 1,955,000, but again, you need to take into account, that includes depreciation of $2.1 million. So we didn't lose 1.9 million. That includes 2.1 in depreciation. So again, when you're looking at this, you really have to kind of understand all the factors in here.
So there's a couple of pretty big jumps year over year, tenant services, and what are general expenses?
So general expenses include insurance, pilot. Hold on. If I go to page, I have it. It'd be on the.
Say no more. If you said
So one of the. Yeah. So mostly on that line item, I have insurance expense and pilot. I broke out bad debt separately for you. So that's the other cost that has risen pretty much across the board for most housing authorities, the cost of insurance. I know in talking with Chiquita, she's been very frustrated with that, and she's had numerous conversations with the insurance agencies. Some of the insurance costs for the tax credit properties, at least, almost doubled. And it's becoming very challenging for many housing authorities to operate those things with a positive cash flow. They were designed, those pro formas were designed to throw off cash flow to the managing people like Albany Housing and to the investors. And in some cases, the tax credit properties have been struggling, and they've been subsidized by the housing authorities through the COCC to give them money to help cover the expenses. I know in our case, we have a large receivable from our tax credit properties. Our receivable from our tax credit properties is close to, I think, $2 million. Right? I think it's, am I looking at the right line?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's around close to $2 million. So we're advancing money to them, and they're obviously paying us back in some cases, but it's been challenging to operate these properties. That would be one of the biggest differences on the general expenses. If Mike, if you need any more detail, I can get out the work papers and I can drill through everything, and I can get you a extremely detailed explanation.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Mike, along that line, though, wouldn't it be good to break out the insurance rather than putting it in general expense? Only because it goes up so much, and that would allow us to keep an eye on the other expenses that's within that category.
I can do that, and that's a good suggestion. I have no problem doing that in the future. I can tell you the reason why that was done is I tried to keep the line item descriptions the same way that they appear on the FDS. If you look on pages like 81 and 80 in your report, you'll see the financial data schedule, which breaks out all of the programs of the housing authority by column and individual columns. And if you look, you can see that they show total utilities, total maintenance. I try to keep it even so the reviewers in REAC have an easy time going back and forth. But I can break those out and keep them close together and definitely show you the insurance separately. I can do that going forward. That's not a problem.
Thank you.
So if
Thank
everybody
you.
sees that, yeah, I was going to go to this next. The financial data schedule will tie right back up to the top end financials that we were just looking at. But this is an exploded view of all the programs that the Housing Authority runs. It shows all the income and all the expenses. And you could see that the FDS shows specific line items: total administration, total utilities, total tenant services. I try to keep it in that line so the user, the REAC people who review this audit report and have to approve it, have an easy time following it. But in this case, I will break them out and keep them together. So if anybody needs to look at it, they can just look at 2 or 3 numbers and add it and come to general expenses. That's no problem. We've done it with the bad debt, so I'll do it with the insurance.
Yeah, just to be clear, because I have this here, I would leave that up to you, Mike, and Chiquita, as to whether or not that needs to be changed.
Right.
But this is good as it is. I see it.
Okay, because
I think we
you know they're your financial statements, and if you want to change on something to make it more informative for you, that's not going to be a problem with the regulatory agency or with me. So if you would like to see insurance on a separate line, we'll do that. If you're okay with the way it is, I'll leave it alone. But it's not going to make a difference to me or her.
Right.
Mike, I think we could probably address it in the MD&A section, just with a
Okay.
brief description.
Description, yeah.
Instead of changing the financial statement, we could put it up in that our review of the MD&A and in the MD&A.
Okay, we can certainly add a paragraph
I
on
think that makes
insurance, and
sense.
yeah, we can certainly add an insurance on a paragraph on insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so the last 2 reports in here are the reports for the single audit and government auditing standards. So as part of your audit, you know, we have to do 2 audits. We have to do a financial audit and we have to do a compliance audit. These reports here would indicate any issues that would have come up during our testing of your compliance with the rules and regulations for the program selected as a major program. For the current year, the Housing Choice Voucher Program was selected as the major program. Therefore, we selected at random 40 different tenant files, and we reviewed the computations on the 5058 form. We tested to see that the Housing Authority documented income from third-party sources, from the employer, from the EIV system, so that the rents are properly calculated, that they had, the 9886 form, the disclosure information that the tenant signed that allowed them to contact the individual employers, and unit inspections, and where applicable, rent reasonableness. We also have to test people coming on and off the wait list. We had no items that would raise to the level of a finding in here. Certainly, we did speak to the Housing Authority when we found some items that needed some improvement, or a couple little things were missing. Cheyenne and her group will take care of those. But for the most part, for the audit reports for the yellow book report and the single audit were both unqualified. There were no findings to report. I do want to bring your attention, as there was a change in the coming year for what will denote a major program. So previously, a major program was any program where the housing authority expended $750,000 or more. We are required to cycle that program as a major program once every 3 years. Beginning in for 2000 for your audit coming up, that threshold amount has been moved to $1 million. So there may be programs that are no longer selected for compliance testing, not financial testing, but for compliance. Now, if at any time the housing authority feels that they want that program audited, you would have to specifically ask us to do it, because as a rule, we're not going to cycle that into a compliance audit because it's going to be below $1 million. Just so everybody knows that
Most
you
likely
are
will
free
continue.
to request that. If anybody had an issue with a program, you could reach out to us and say, hey, listen, we want this program cycled in. We feel, X, Y, and Z is not being done right. Please look into this. Here's what we want you to do. Just so you're aware of that. But since the threshold is moving up,
Continue.
go ahead,
Can
Chiquita.
you hear me?
I can.
No, I was just adding to what you stated. We'll continue most likely status quo
Okay.
in terms of compliance. But we can talk about that further
Correct.
at another time.
So this report was submitted to REAC, and it was it has been approved. So it was submitted on March 30th, I believe, and it has subsequently been accepted so we are done. It was submitted to the clearinghouse. The audit at this point after this meeting would be completed. Mike, Chiquita, I forgot to send this to Mike earlier. Did you send him the letter to those for governance that I emailed you today?
You already have it in your, I sent it back to you.
No, you don't send it to me. You have to send it to Mike.
No, Mike signed it already.
He doesn't need to sign it. It's a letter to
well
him.
then he has it.
Yeah, it's a letter to him. It's a letter to the board.
Then he has it.
It's a letter to the board, just, indicating there were no issues with the audit. We had no disagreements with management.
Okay, so the letter you sent me today, just for point of clarification, that was addressed to the board. I will make sure they all get a copy.
Right. Well, yeah, I send it to Mike, and Mike can share it with the board. Usually goes to the chairman, but it can go to the whole board.
Okay.
It's no charge of governance. It's just to let everybody know.
He has it.
There were no difficulties encountered during the audit, and there were no disagreements with management that were not, resolved or so forth. And any proposed adjustments were approved by management, and they were, so it all went smooth.
Yep. I just had him sign it. It's all right.
Well, okay, yeah, it didn't need to be signed. It was actually a letter to him.
Well, it acknowledges he received it.
Exactly.
There you go.
Just saying.
Who's on first?
Compliance. All right.
Any other questions for Mike?
No.
Which Mike?
Did you? I thought you had a question.
I have no question.
Okay.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Mike, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
I think I've touched on all the things that would be most, of importance to the board. If at any time the board has any questions, you may feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to discuss those, whatever questions you may have.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate this. This is solid. Good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I always appreciate that you acknowledge that. It is a lot of work, and that report, a lot goes into that report.
I spend a fair amount of time looking at these, and this is one of the better ones, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're free to
Okay.
go till next year.
Okay. We'll see you. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Guy next behind you is looking for you.
Oh, yeah, okay. Take care.
Tell them we said hi.
I will. I'll let them know you said hello.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Chiquita, you and your team are to be commended again.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Balance.
See that in every year that I've been on the board, it's been the same, we're qualified, really good stuff.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the acknowledgement, but I cannot, accept it without acknowledging our CFO, Brandon Underwood, and her leadership and her team for the hard work, because they're the ones that actually do the work. So really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you have to upload certain software and things like that, because there's so much information that they
All of these back schedules, that's uploaded to React, and then we have to make sure the uploads work. Sometimes it doesn't work, and then we have to key it. There's a deadline,
Yeah.
So it is a lot of work, but
It
we
is,
all
yeah.
we all work together. My team works really hard, so.
and you got a smile on your face.
Yeah. And they are tirelessly, late nights, that they work, around the clock and trying to maintain day-to-day plus audits.
Mhm.
So they really work hard at this. So they're very, very proud of them.
Yeah.
Your work should
Very appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brandon.
And we get points from time for having a good audit, right?
Yes,
Yep.
we do. Yep,
Too.
yes.
Part of it.
We're all graded. Every area.
And the points do what? How are they factored into decisions that they make concerning?
Overall, designations are calculated on an average number. So as you might recall last meeting, I mentioned that because of our vacancy being below 93%, we did not get the points for that. So it brought us to standard as opposed to high performer. But this was all calculated within that overall standard designation. So we did very well on that end, but
Good.
yeah. Although we maintain above 90%, they make it very difficult in how they calculate. They changed that a couple of years ago as well when they did their system. But yes, it is considered.
You think the system is going to go back a little bit after this administration is gone?
I don't think so. Now, there might be some improvements, there might not be. It's really difficult to determine. And I think it's a level of understanding how the internal operation of a housing authority actually works to really fully understand how you should be, I would say auditing or reviewing an authority, and the system should match those
For example,
understandings.
if we have a unit that has, 85% occupancy,
Right.
you get dinged for that.
Right.
It doesn't matter about the size of the unit, though. So you can have a unit of, 10 apartments, and two people,
Yeah,
or you're working on those two
Mhm.
apartments.
it brings it down.
80%, you get deducted.
Wow.
Yeah,
Listen, it's never gonna be a totally fair measure,
right.
but we do like to pride ourselves on the fact that we are, exceptional. It just makes it very, very difficult to achieve that based on the current structure
Yeah, the criteria that they set.
that aren't,
It's not a true reflection of our operation.
as long as we don't have any $450,000 plumbers on the payroll.
We do not. We don't have plumbers on our payroll. We contract that out.
We have do we continue to use this, company?
Yes.
So we have,
We put
we've had.
it out to bid several times. These guys are one of the top focused on specific authority public accounting firms in the country.
They're leading in the country and the industry.
Probably one of the premier
Yeah.
voices in that,
Yeah.
specific genre.
They train other housing authorities and agencies. They're top notch, but we do, every so often, we have to put it out to bid.
Right, that's really.
Yes.
That's what I was.
Oh, yeah, no, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian working. Okay.
Absolutely.
Can we move to the proposed resolutions?
Yes.
Item number 07-26-33, resolution approving the contract with Eastern Heating and Cooling Incorporated for HVAC preventative maintenance and repair services at various developments. Pretty self-explanatory.
Very much routine.
Especially on a day like today, we want to make sure that our air conditioning's working. Any questions, comments, concerns? Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make that.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 07-26-34, resolution authorizing the write-off of certain collection losses. Again, self-explanatory. We do this
Quarterly.
fairly periodically, with the quarter.
Yes,
So,
quarterly.
I do have a question, because I've never experienced this before.
Sure.
When you do a write-off, what happens?
It takes it off the receivable account, and it shows basically what you're seeing are units or monies owed to us from families or individuals that have moved out and left us with this balance owed. So rather than keep it and showing as it owed to us on our day-to-day operations in our budget versus actual, it allows us to remove it from that category onto, obviously, debts owed to the housing authority.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does not
And then it
mean
does
that-
not.
It does not mean that they don't owe the money still though.
Right, but it just takes off that
That's
reflection.
okay. I was going to,
Puts us in a better spotlight.
yeah, more,
it's financially in terms of what it,
it's good for this.
paperwork.
It's good
Yeah.
for this.
Okay.
but to Brian's point,
Basically acknowledges that, we're pretty much not gonna collect that money.
but, to Brian's point and Chairman's point, we can still collect the money.
Right,
And if someone wanted to come back, they would have to
take care of that.
take care of that first,
That was-
not only with us, but if they wanted to move to another housing authority or obtain Section 8 elsewhere, this balance would have to be paid. It is uploaded into a system,
Okay.
shows that they owe the balance.
Okay.
Other questions, comments? Can I get a motion to approve? Second? In favor?
Aye.
Advisement,
No particular advisors. I will say today, in preparation of some of the townhomes at Steamboat coming online in the next week or two, or towards the end of the month, I went to see some of them ready, and they just turned on the geothermal today and started to be able to feel the air coming through. It was a great experience. The units are coming together. They really look nice. I'm hoping to invite you back when it's all said and done and ready, and we've done the walkthrough. We will hopefully be able to have a walkthrough for the board members towards the end of July, beginning of August. I'll keep you updated on that opportunity. About 14, I believe, townhomes will be coming online, so 14 families will be able to move back into the brand-new homes.
Do we get our own?
Anyway, you never know what we have up our sleeves. However, so that was really exciting. So I did that today. And then I will, one of the, I think it's worth noting that one of our longtime residents that actually lived at Steamboat years ago, and who I have gotten to know over the years, who years and years ago, suffered a very serious health condition and had to have surgery. Needless to say, God's will, he's doing much better and ended up starting his own business. And this is the second year that he has obtained a contract with the general contractor, AOW, for the cleaning of the properties of the units when they're done and preparing them for their families to move in. So it was a great success. I was able to take a picture of them, and it was just, every time I see him, it just warms my heart to see how well he's doing. So, yeah. Very important, yeah. And I think with that, you know, we have our report. We already talked about operations and some of our scoring. One property didn't do as well as we hoped, but that, I will note, could have been prevented. We are addressing that on the management side, and ensuring that everything is aligned for the next preparation for our inspection in one of the properties. And to the example that our Chairman Welling provided, this is one of those properties that only had 31 units. So you get one ding, it hits you harder than as opposed to a property that has 120 units. So I wanted to point that out. We remained steady with our occupancy, actually increased 94.55%. Vacancy rate stays about 5.4 or 5% on a consistent basis. So that's very low, in, you know, when you look at the bigger picture. So we continuously to work hard and work towards a higher vacancy rate, which obviously we remain active in doing so. In the collection side, again, you know, we remain active in doing our part in collecting, because that's another area in which we are scored. Mike, you've heard him talk about that in our audit. But we work diligently in that. It's, you know, fortunately, a lot of cases that go to court are resolved prior to court, and some of those cases are resolved in court, you know, so that either repayment agreements, or if there's a need for banning agreements or anything of that nature. There were no warrants issued by court during the month of June, which really, you know, continues to reflect our efforts in achieving resolutions whenever possible. Am I missing anything?
No, that covers it. I mean, as we've said probably 100 times, if you owe rent to the housing authority and you appear in court, you are offered a repayment agreement, typically $50 a month, $25 a month, along with paying your rent moving forward. That is standard practice, and we do it every time, and 99% of the time, people take us up on it. Sometimes they don't, and because they want to push an issue, so we have to go to trial, but vast majority of people, we were able to work things out. The other thing maybe we should mention is the collection agent, hiring the collection agent.
Yes. Yep. We did go out to bid for a collection agency. This collection agency will be responsible for collecting monies due to those write-offs and actively pursuing those two individuals that owe us money, so that hopefully we can potentially retrieve some of it.
That would be limited to people who have already moved out.
Right, the write-off,
So
the moved out.
Right, so not anybody who's currently here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I said write-off, right? The write-off.
Yeah, but I wanted to be sure they
yeah.
understood that. That's
Good point, yes. The families that moved out, not currently living with us. Yeah, it did. Thank you, Brian.
A quick question, though, Chiquita.
Yes.
And it's a simple answer, I know, but I'm just not sure which one it would be. With a waiting list, because we have a waiting list, you know, for people to get apartments.
Yes.
How come there's so many vacancies? Is it because of the remodels that we can't put them on, or is it?
Well, again, if you look at the spreadsheet, depending on where you're referencing, right? So if we talk about the vacancies, depending on where they are, I can tell you that, like, for an example, with Westview, sometimes it's due to someone passing away. A lot of times someone going into the nursing home. That could contribute, but it's a time frame of where the vacancy report is done and whether or not there's someone aligned to move in. So when you get these reports, sometimes they're not exactly the exact, because 9 times out of 10, somebody has already moved in the majority of those units. Then in addition to that, it's termination. You know.
Contingent upon what the applicant is looking for.
Correct. Well,
So you
that was my other.
applicants maybe looking for family
Yes.
units, and we don't have any family units.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
But we always have applicants and files ready to go depending on the
Soon as
size unit.
Availability.
Yes.
I'll
And
add-
I will, go ahead.
I'll add, it also depends to a certain degree upon
Where?
development. So some developments are harder to lease out than others, depending upon location. and
Correct.
things like that, reputation, et cetera.
Yes. So there's so many factors related to that.
Okay.
And then I also say that there's sometimes, you know, and I know this for a fact, the department has sent out 50 to 100 letters. A lot of them come back, either undeliverable, because they didn't update their address, things like that. So then that pushes us to having to, you know, send out more letters, or sometimes, you know, the applicants don't return their information necessary for us to determine the eligibility, so that also delays. So there's so many factors, it's hard for me to tell you one good reason that, would contribute to the vacancy.
Okay.
But to add to that though, the little I do know, these apartments, they go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Soon as you have the eligibility, and then it's always like a move-in target, right? Because, like, you know, then it's replaced by termination apartment, so the
Yes.
vacancy will be a constant.
It's fluid, right? You might fill one, but then two might get terminated, or somebody might, you know, expire, or, you know, so
It's always going.
you're always chasing the number.
Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah.
that low vacancy.
Good point.
percentage is
Yeah.
always gonna be that.
Yeah.
Because of the movement, but it might not be the same apartment.
Okay.
That answers the question?
Questions, comments, concerns?
No, the only thing is the program, I know, updates on the feed-in, you guys are something.
We have the summer meals, and my next, statement was, I am going to defer to Fran to provide you an update on the programs that we've been providing, including the summer food.
Well, right now?
Yes, please, and thank you.
Summer meals program that started officially at 9 sites, 3 of which are our sites. We began last week. So that's going to run through August the 14th. And then we have a senior engagement series happening through August 7th at 2 of our sites, twice a week with the neighborhood association, the city's neighborhood, Better Neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So they come in and have a variety of activities, not just at those 2 sites, but at other sites throughout the city. And what they're doing is they're utilizing the summer youth program to kind of tie in with senior engagement. So it's a really nice use of time for all involved. I think they need to get the word out a little more on what's going on. So we're hoping to see some attendance driven up there. I don't know if they chose the right sites per se, but Ida and North Albany is where they are currently. The Resource Center is now based out of this building. They're taking walk-ins twice a week with great success, and the team is just kind of getting acclimated to coming in under the fold. You'll have reporting next month. My apologies for the lack of reporting this month.
No, you're fine. I also just wanna mention that, National Night Out, I'm sort of still torn with it, but I'm getting used to it. There's still gonna be one National Night Out.
Washington Park, yes.
Actually, the APD took it over, which we always were looking.
We wanted them to, yes.
Take over, and so, it's still happening. My struggle is I still like them in the different.
That's nice.
I'll get over it.
What is it?
They're accessible when it's like that, you know, to more people.
Yeah, it's at Washington Park.
But what is it?
It was National Night Out. It's basically a day of.
Take back your neighborhood?
Take back your neighborhood. Stop the violence, stop criminal activity, build relationship with, officers, police, law enforcement. So that's basically, it's a national day of that. So we've done it for ever.
Years and years.
Just a question.
Sure.
Why in the park? Why not in the neighborhood that you're trying to take back?
That's what it used
So
to be.
I'm not with the city.
The city runs.
The city runs the project with the through the police department.
That
We
makes
don't,
sense.
we don't decide it.
I do think in their eyes, in their defense, it's saving a lot of money and time and effort. Because, you know, I could see that part of it, but I could, if I'm in the debating mode, I could debate that too.
I might also add that,
Personnel too,
yeah.
you know, to go to all of these different
Yeah.
places.
And they're not backfilling APD, so they've reached out to us. They'd like to come to our sites to host an evening outreach. And you do see them cropping up. Last year was at Swinburne. I think last year was the first year, right, that they really just owned it.
Yeah.
And it was not unsuccessful, you know.
It was good.
Every agency was there and a lot of community partners, but it takes away a little bit to Mark's point of, you know, the magic of being in your neighborhood and the accessibility, yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing.
The only reason why I asked, because the woman that got killed on Washington Avenue across the street from our building. That's the only reason why I asked. Oh, and to the food thing that you were talking about they didn't get it out enough. I mean, can I put it on my Facebook page and get it out there?
Oh, absolutely. So we're, everything that we post is shareable on our Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn sites.
Okay,
So you're more than welcome, and if you can't, please reach out to me.
okay. Because that would be, you know, a way to get it out there, you know, to let other people know.
There's another great event happening tomorrow. I don't know if Mike wants to touch on it in case you want to share this with your connections in Albany. Mike?
Sure. I do, on a volunteer basis with veterans in the local community. Tomorrow, the bank, we hosted the whole summer series at OGS on Wednesdays for, concerts in the plaza, Empire State Plaza. And tomorrow, all veterans who are active duty or are veterans get free lunch. All they have to do is show up at our table and we will give you a voucher to go to one of the food trucks. So, and I will be speaking tomorrow at around noon.
But there's no real speeches. It's really low key, and I think a lot of people just like to come and enjoy the camaraderie of being around, you know, the veterans. I can't stress enough what a wonderful afternoon it is.
There's a good band purportedly playing. Some of the state dignitaries will be there. So if you know any vets who want a free lunch,
Send it out to all staff.
feel free. Feel free to
Families,
show up.
and just anyone that's,
Usually, you know, give away 100 or so lunches. Well, we have 200 vouchers.
Where is it at? Because there's a whole bunch of veterans in my building.
Empire
the
State.
Empire State Plaza. OGS will be advertising it on their social media sites probably tonight or tomorrow morning.
They already have they put a press release out.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
I can forward that.
But there's a farmer's market and food trucks, super low key. A lot of people don't want to go and be a part of any kind of speeches or anything.
Well,
Yeah. Well, I'll be there,
Thank you.
ready to listen to you.
sing a number or two.
There you go. And lastly, we cannot, go off the topic of community events without mentioning the Unite the City that will be held August 8th, at the MVP Arena. Remind me the time. Time is 11
until 4.
11 to 4 on August 8th. So encourage, yep, and.
Good work, thank you, Fran.
Thank you. But it's all free to the community.
Yes.
It's soup to nuts. It's really, that's another
It's
very
awesome.
special event.
Yeah,
Been
it's a
going,
lot of fun.
worth going.
Yeah.
Unite the county.
Yeah. Did I say it wrong? Did I say Unite the City? I meant the county, I apologize.
It used to be city.
Yes.
Last year, we changed it because of.
We did.
Bethlehem, Colony.
Yes, yes, so Unite the County, yes.
And M&T.
Yeah.
Thank you, when they came out, we had to change everything, so.
But it is an awesome event for family and friends, you know, in the communities. So, please spread the word.
Is it outside or inside?
Gotta go to,
It's inside.
Whole arena.
Pardon?
gotta go to executive.
Yes, okay. So that concludes the program report.
motion to go into executive session
To discuss the status of contract negotiations.
to discuss the status of contracts.
Motion made.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
aye.
All
Do
right.
you want to make a second motion to end the meeting right after, or are you going to come back in?
Yeah, let's do that.
Well,
We can't, can we?
we can now, we're already in it. We'll come back out and then we'll just make the quick motion.
Yeah.